G'day there, James Bartolo here. In this video, I'm going to be going over an article I discovered on the interwebs. Hold on, why are we blurry here? Called After We Die. Someone posted this in a comment on one of my posts on Facebook, and this is going to be a long video. It's a nice big article, and there's a lot of good information in here, but there's a lot of stuff I think is nonsense as well. So I'm going to be reading this out and just saying what I agree with and what I disagree with, or have different ideas and opinions. So, I guess maybe that's what I'll call this video, After We Die. What happens? For those of spirit who are curious and knowing what happens after they die, and if you want to have the reins of control of your destiny, your experience, your consciousness, your life after death, and if you don't want to give the reins of control to something exterior to you, which is what happens when you research near-death experiences, pre-birth memories, psychedelic experiences, out-of-body experiences, past life regressions, in-between life, hypnotic regressions, there is a fuckload of data of hundreds of thousands of people's testimonies all across the world who share the same pattern. And you use the scientific method and you look at the patterns and the commonalities between all these people, and the trend between everyone is, number one, when people die and leave their body, reality becomes hyper-real. Becomes a lot more real than this reality right now. It's like this reality compared to a dream. This feels a lot more real than a dream. And they say once they exit the body, the same thing happens. They feel more real. And I've spoken to multiple people in real life, face to face, about their near-death experiences as well. One guy was skateboarding across the road when he was about 18, and he got hit by a car. And just before the car hit him, his astral body popped out of his physical body, and he observed what happened from above, and he didn't actually feel the impact or the pain, which is really nice to know, of getting smashed by a car. And then he had a big journey, but basically, yeah, the first commonality was everything felt more real. The second commonality between all experiences is everything is better. There's no suffering, there's no pain. They feel more natural, even though they aren't in their ultimate true state. Or most of these experiences anyway. Some of them, it appears that they do go back to an original point. You can call it that, the original starting point, source point, spirit point, God point, whatever. Is that it just is better than this world, than this reality. So two massive commonalities between all these experiences. And then the other patterns between not all but most of the experiences is that there is a mechanism, a system of control that seeks to make one inferior to it, and it poses as something that is superior, whether it is the tunnel of light or entities dressed in a shape or appearance as Jesus or Buddha or your dead grandma, mum, a dog, a pony, whatever. It's just something that poses and pretends to be something that will manipulate you and deceive you best by looking within you and knowing your attachments and identifications better than you even know. So there's a shitload of information about this out there. And because the main weapon, this enemy that seeks to enslave and entrap us and contain us in this false light matrix, this fucking artificial world that has many layers to it, above and beyond this one as well, the astro-etheric realms before this, and then, you know, a digital meta one below this, is that this system, this evil entity or ignorant entity, according to Gnosticism, it seeks to convince us we are a character in something else's story. We are subservient, we are inferior. It makes us believe that we are not the author, we are not the director, the screenwriter, the editor. When, a matter of fact, yes, we are a character in our own story. Sure, I'm James in this body right now, but I'm not only that. I am also the director of my life, the editor, the screenwriter, the author. And at the same time, I know I'm none of these things. I am that which comes from the nothingness field, the zero-dimensional field, where there is nothing except the potential and possibility for anything and everything and whatever is in between. So, because in reality, we are all sovereign. In objective reality, we're all sovereign and we're all equal. We all have equal power. Imagine, because once you die and exit the body, force cannot be used against you like it can be here. If you fight against the system directly with violence, well, you're going to get beaten up or shot or tasered or handcuffed or something, because you have a body that is easily manipulated. It's extremely limited and restricting. It's a devolution. It's a degradation of spirit. It is an inversion of all that is good. And it is wrong because it can be controlled and manipulated and deceived. So, in the realm where there is no body that can be forcefully and violently forced to do the will of another, then deception and coercion and manipulation need to be used. Because they can't just overpower us in a place where we have no body. Because in reality, we all have equal power. But you can use deception and offers and allures, traps, deceptions. That's pretty deep with that one. But so anyway, the point is, after you die, it's not the end, right? Like, if you want to be the bitch slave of a Jesus or an external God, be my guest. You'll be the bitch slave and you'll see Jesus standing there and you will just get memory wiped and reincarnated and you'll get stuck here again for eternity. Like, and if that's your path, if that's what you want to do, well then you are of this world. Thank you. Don't watch my videos. Go away. You're never going to learn. These videos are for people who are of spirit, who want the truth, who are able to separate truth from falsehood and know there is something fucking totally wrong. Well, not something. There's a million different things that are totally wrong and that are like, hold on, just from that one thing alone, I know this whole world is fucked. And there's a million different things you can pick that up on. You go, hold on, yeah, this ain't the real world. Like, this is just an illusion. This system is controlled by satanic fucking rapists and evil. It's a parasitic world of parasitic vampiric nature, of cannibalism. Dog eat dog world. Everything just has to kill and die to survive here. Just for anything to survive, death and cruelty and destruction is necessary. Without consent, with suffering attached to that. Like, violence in of itself isn't a bad thing. You know, you go into a boxing ring, you punch the shit out of each other, and it's really not even that painful compared to like fucking tipping a boiling kettle, boiling water over your hand. That's a lot more painful than getting into a boxing fight. You know, gloves on and whatever. You know, sure, some people break their shins or whatever, but compared to pain that you can experience from a car crash or a burns. Seriously, what the fuck? That's nasty, evil fucking shit. It's not necessary. When I play a game, Halo or Doom on Xbox, like, I can go around killing demons or aliens. I don't need to feel the pain to enjoy the experience. Actually, I enjoy the experience a lot fucking more than if I was feeling the pain of getting shot by the enemy. The most I feel is perhaps frustration. I don't suffer when I play the game. I know I'm playing a game. I can stop playing the game at any time. If you are playing a game and you are feeling intense fucking agony and pain, you are suffering, you don't even know you're playing a game. If you realize you're playing the game, you can't even stop at any time without having to kill yourself. Like, it's not a good fucking game. There's a problem there. And if the game wants you to, every time you die in the game, wants you to have your memory wiped and start again and go around again and again and again for eternity, well, whoa, man, there's a bloody problem. You got to get out of that game. You got to get out of that matrix, that simulation, that realm, that world, that universe, that multiverse, whatever. Hightail it, get the fuck out of there and get back to what you truly are and back to home, the original starting point, your originating point, that zero-dimensional field, your God self, your true self, ultimate truth, spirituality, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, a little bit of a rant there. So I'm going to start reading this article actually and going through this because, yeah, I actually read about half of it, and then I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to read the whole thing and make a video about it, because the first half was a lot better than the start of the second half. I was going through the start of the second half and I'm like, I don't like this. That part, yeah, totally disagree with that, totally disagree with that. A lot in the beginning I was like, yep, this is on the money, this is some really good stuff, and I was learning things from it too. Alright, so at certain moments throughout this video I will be taking a sip from some kombucha or mineral water, heads up. Oh, really good summer berry flavour, I'd never seen it before. It is an inevitable fact that everyone will die. Cognizance of the fact is the very basis of a true spiritual practice. To be truly aware of it on a daily basis, to never forget the inevitability of death. So many people forget that they're going to die at some point, and they don't even think about it. It's like, oh, so what do you plan on doing after death? I don't know. It's literally the most fucking important thing, and people just totally forget about it. It's like, yes, you're going to die at some point. To be a really serious spiritual practitioner, this kind of cognizance is a necessity, because death, being inevitable, is an opportunity also for a great transformation. If our death is managed by all of the force of our being, of all of the force of our heart and mind. In other words, death is inevitable, but its outcome is susceptible to many modifications and influences. The notion that modern society supports and emphasizes that death is the end is patently false. Death is not an end, it is just a change. We do not cease to exist after death, we just begin to exist in a different way. Someone who is very serious about their spiritual practice knows that and works on that, so the change of death can be beneficial rather than detrimental. So you can be in control of what happens after that, not the mechanism of nature or anything outside of yourself. So this chapter title is The Six Betweens. For that reason, the great Indian master Padmaswamava gave a profound teaching about the six betweens, or six intermediate states through which every organism passes many, many times. The six betweens, or bardos, I think bloody Gnosticism talks about the bardos, are states of consciousness through which we all pass and have passed many times. Unfortunately, fucking taken us a while to figure this shit out. The first is what we call the Vigil State. The second is related to the Dream State. Oh, actually, a point I want to make is, sure, you can learn about all this stuff. You go, this world's fucked, like after being restricted and limited by a flesh prison, encaged in cells, and my heart is in a cage, and evil fucking everywhere in every direction you look. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy the world. Doesn't mean you can't be happy or at peace still. You still definitely do all that stuff. I fucking have a great time every day, even though at any moment I'd be ready to go, ready to leave at the snap of a fingers. But at the same time, I enjoy myself, and I have family and friends I love and care about, and things I do every day that I thoroughly enjoy. But at the same time, I'm fucking aware of the truth of this world and the nature of reality. Not in totality, but to a point where I know what I want, and it's not this world. I deserve more than that. You deserve more than that. Everyone does. Even the NPCs deserve better than what they get here. Right? Even the animals, the plants, everything deserves better. The first is what we call the Vigil State. The second is related to the Dream State. The third is related with meditation. These three states of being relate to functions of consciousness. They're states of consciousness we can only access if we have the training. In other words, most of humanity has not experienced these states consciously, but passes through them unconsciously. When we talk about how all beings pass through the bardos, we all pass through them, but without knowledge, without realizing it, without knowing it, without controlling it. So the first three betweens, as we have been explaining in all these lectures, apparently, other information before this article, are utilized as training that we need in order to access the next three betweens, which happens after death. The six betweens are two groups of three. Serious spiritual training teaches you how to harness the power of these first three bardos, how to take advantage of them, how to transform yourself and your experience of life so that when the experience of death arrives, you can transform it. Also, another key point, well, maybe not a key point, but a note I want to make is watch my videos if you can. I highly recommend it on 2x speed at least. If you're watching this on your mobile on YouTube, I think you click the little 3 dots, click on that, go to speed, go to 2x speed, so then you can watch this content a lot quicker. My minimum watching speed for anything nowadays is 2x speed, and then depending on how clearly someone enunciates their words and how fast they naturally speak, and the audio quality, I like to watch it on 3x speed. Some people you can get up to 3.5, 4x speed, so you can watch a lot of information a lot quicker, as long as you're comprehending it too. Some things are very detailed and you can't listen to it that quick, but some things you literally can watch it that fast. And also you turn on the subtitles as well, so you can get through a lot more information quicker, and just so you've got time to do other stuff or to look at more information, whatever. You know, if you're driving to work or around, just what I like to do is to listen to things while I'm driving around. I put it on 2x speed and listen to headphones or a speaker, so I can get that information in while I'm, not really doing anything apart from driving around. So the vigil state, the importance of presence. The beginning, the basis of all spiritual work is to be present, to be here and now, to not be distracted, to not allow the mind, the heart, or the body to take our attention away from being here and now in the body, seeing, experiencing, and hearing, taking in data from the senses. This is the basis for real spiritual work. So I'm going to distract you right now for a moment. Mineral water. This is the best mineral water I've found. It's called Santa Vittoria, as it says it's got bicarbonate, calcium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, potassium. These are all minerals which are good for the physical body. Whereas, what's the other? There's another, San Pellegrino. That's the other big mineral water company, right? They literally say they've got fluoride. They put fluoride in their water, so I stay away from that one. I get this one because it says it doesn't have any fluoride. And if you just get a normal mineral water, like a Coles or Woolworths brand, it doesn't say it's got all these minerals. So as a nice tasty drink, I like to drink mineral water or kombucha. I like coffee as well, but I personally don't drink alcohol. If that's your thing, that's your thing. Though alcohol comes from the word alkul, which is the Turkish word for flesh-eating spirit. It's the drink that drinks you, so just be wary of that. Presence, self-awareness, self-observation, self-remembering. There are many names for this function of consciousness, but it does not happen automatically. It does not happen just because you are in a humanoid body. Presence, attention, has to be managed consciously and continuously. There is no autopilot for awakened consciousness. Awakening does not happen on its own. It takes willpower. Oh, willpower, that's something I've been exploring a lot and really thinking about it. And consciousness. Consciousness, the awareness of being aware. And being aware of self. Because you could be in a dream, and I've spoken about this, and you can be aware, but you're not aware that you're aware. And you may not even, you may be aware of stuff happening externally, but you're not aware of yourself. So consciousness is also self-awareness. That is a key aspect of consciousness. Aware that you're aware. Aware that you're aware of external and internal reality. Awareness of self. And then, willpower. Willpower is the ability and freedom to do, to change, to want, to take action, enact things. Willpower. I'll do another video on that. This willpower is to take the vigil state and make it vigilant, as opposed to the way most of us live, which is in the vigil state, with quotation marks around it. We normally have our so-called vigil state as our state of dreaming. Our so-called vigil state is generally a state of utter distraction, never remembering that we are here in the body, never remembering what we are doing, where we are, who we are, just lost in thoughts, and so we are unable to maintain a continuity of conscious action. It takes training to develop that. It takes a lot of training. This is training that you have to give yourself to be present, to be here and now. That cognizance is divided into a continual observation of two essential aspects: internal states and external events. In other words, our attention needs to be cultivated and developed so that it is capable of being aware of our internal state, which is like our thoughts, our feelings and sensations, our will, our desire, our intentions, at the same time that it is maintaining awareness of what is happening in the external event, whether that's out here or out here in a dream or out here in an astro-etheric realm or anything that is not within. And furthermore is capable of seeing the relationship between the two. That's an interesting thing. Where I got up to in this article, I didn't see him write any more about the relationship between the two, but yeah, that is interesting, the relationship between the internal and external. It sounds easy when you give a technical explanation, but I guarantee you that when you are in a conversation with your friends, co-workers, family, you will forget this because you forget yourself. You get so engaged in conversation, so engaged in the debate, in emotion and sensations and longings, desires, fears, anxieties, that you forget yourself. This is why we suffer. Well, I mean, the Buddha talks about some really interesting points why we suffer. One of the reasons is because of craving. Say if you're a cigarette smoker and you're addicted to it and you crave those cigarettes but you can't get any, then you suffer. If you are obsessed with a woman or a man and you want to be in a relationship with them but they keep rejecting you, well, you can suffer from that. And I did a Vipassana course, 10-day silent meditation retreat, and that was a lot. That taught me a lot about how to overcome suffering. So if you're suffering, it's a good place to start. And if you don't want to go do one of the 10-day courses, you can look up the Vipassana 10-day lectures from Goenka, who was a teacher of Gautama, the Buddha's teachings of Samadhi, Shila and Panya, morality, mental control, I think mind mastery, and learnings or wisdom from one's own experience. So the basis of this training is to become aware and to become fully vigilant all the time, continually. This takes a lot of willpower. That training deepens when we apply it when we're also out of the body in the dream state, which is the second bardo. It's got in brackets between. Okay, the dream state, big title. A person who is fully trained does not forget themselves when they are in the dream world. They are aware that they are dreaming, that they are aware that they are out of the body. So this is something I'd like to get more proficient with. For example, like last night, I actually had a series of dreams, and I used to keep a dream diary, and I haven't been writing down my dreams for the past couple of weeks because they've just been boring and they haven't been special enough, and I've just lost interest in it a bit. But last night I had multiple dreams. Well, when I say multiple dreams, multiple scenes, totally different scenes. And like when I woke up a couple of times during the night, and I could clearly remember. I'm like, oh, like I think I'll write that one down. That was a crazy. That was really valuable to me. I enjoyed that dream, or that was more intense and vivid than other dreams. I'm going to write that down. And then I full on woke up and got up in the morning, and I was trying to remember. I couldn't remember, but I was like, I want to remember it. So I just let my mind wander and just thought about other random things that I'd done the day before, and then boom, it came. There was like a connection between those random things I was thinking and the dream. So I made that connection, and then kept on remembering, and then I got my phone out and opened up my dream diary, and then wrote in the notes the different scenes within that dream. But I wasn't fully aware. I wasn't lucid. Wasn't vivid in those dreams. That's something I'd definitely like to do. But it's like, well, why aren't I doing that already? What's holding me back? It's a question. If you are able to lucid dream, please put it in the comments below, and then maybe even write your strategies or something. That'd be an interesting thing. I mean, I've done it a couple times, but it would be good to be able to do it on demand more often. So they do not become identified with anything in the dream world. They remain conscious of themselves. This has been made possible by rigorous training and continual presence while they were in their physical body. Everybody wants the ability to go out of the body consciously, to have an astral projection. I don't know if everyone does, but anyway, to have an out-of-body experience, a lucid dream. Nobody realizes that the ability to have that experience begins here and now, in the physical body, by developing a continual awareness of oneself. Never forgetting oneself, never forgetting that you are in the body. Always aware of inner states and external events and the relationship between them. Body. I don't know what that means. Why is that important? Because when you are in the dream world, the astral and mental world, asleep, unconscious, you are not aware of your inner state and you are not aware of the external event. You are not aware that you are in your astral body, your dream, unconscious, because you dream unconsciously during your physical life, during the day in your physical body. If you train during the day in your physical body to question everything that you perceive, to always be aware of yourself, you will naturally start to do that in dreams in the astral body, naturally, spontaneously. So he's talking about reality checks and gets a little bit more into that. Here, so the next title is The Key of Soul, S-O-L. I don't know why he's called it soul, but anyway. So to develop this skill, we use an exercise called SOL, means subject, object, location. Part of that exercise, apart from the self-awareness that I've been describing, is to test the external event. To see, what is this place that I am in? Where am I? Am I in my physical body or my astral body? So, during the day, you learn to start testing things, to pull your finger, to really make it stretch, to fully expect that it will stretch, to test yourself. If I am really in my astral body, if I am dreaming, my finger will stretch. If you do that physically and really mean it and really test it, still there. You will start to do it while you are dreaming too, and one day you will be testing it and all of a sudden your finger will stretch. And you will realize you are in the astral plane, you are not in your physical body, and you will start to awaken. A similar test can be to push on things. Push your finger through a wall. Yep. To bend your pen or pencil in your book and it will be flexible in the dream world. Test things around you. That only works if you have the cognizance, presence of attention that drives it. If you do this exercise mechanically without all of your consciousness present, it will not work. This training is essential because it starts to prepare the consciousness to become continuously observant of everything that is happening to it, inside and outside, and to always be questioning, where am I? What is happening to me? What is going on? I cannot emphasize enough how critical this is, because when you die, you need this skill. Without it, you will die unconsciously and you will be reborn unconsciously. Perhaps. Obviously having greater awareness of your present moment, and the more awareness you can have, the better off you're going to be going through, what do you call that? I don't know. Just the bullshit show, the clown show after death. So meditation. The third between bardo is the phase of meditation, which in Sanskrit is called Dhyana. Sounds like Diana, bloody Wonder Woman. This does not refer to mere concentration. Dhyana, D-H-Y-A-N-A, is a state of consciousness that is complete serenity and is very bright, very clear, very perceptive. It is not a state of daydreaming or fantasizing. It is a state of beautiful clarity of consciousness. It is the most beautiful, expansive clarity of consciousness and inner perception that you can imagine that you have ever experienced. It is not a state of consciousness such as you have felt when you ate your first chocolate ice cream and you felt so good. It is not like any kind of sensation, like a sensation in the body. It has nothing to do with an orgasmic state, like many claim. It's not like that. Dhyana is a bright, perceptive, penetrating awareness, a clarity of perception, a kind of calmness of mind, a kind of inner serenity that is deeply profound. So in my last video on my channel, it's titled, What Are You? What is Spirit? I spoke about meditation and finding that zero-dimensional field of nothingness, which is a state of peace, really. There's no thoughts, nothing, state of peace. That's what he's talking about here. Why is it important? Is that state the ego? In that state, the ego can be seen for what it is. A state of dhyana is a state in which the consciousness is free of the cage of ego, free of pride, free of lust, free of envy, free of fear. This is the important point. The skill of meditation, dhyana, is based on developing skill in the dream state, which is developed through skill in the vigil state. Sequentially, the skill of meditation, dhyana, strengthens the consciousness to be stable and serene, no matter what happens in any context. It strengthens the consciousness, it solidifies it, it grows it, but most of all, it helps it access its true nature, which is serenity, insight and understanding, peace. That is what you want when you die. You need that state of consciousness, dhyana, because when you die, you pass through a great transformation, a doorway, and what happens after that depends on you. I agree with that. This next title is What Happens After We Die? So after all, this lecture is called After We Die. So what happens after we die? I cannot tell you, because it is up to you. The subject or explanation of what happens after we die is incredibly complicated because it depends on your state of consciousness. I know everybody wants an easy answer. We all go to heaven or hell, or we all go to this place where there is a great bright light and our loved ones are there waiting for us. Or we just simply cease to exist. We all want these kindergarten, simple Sunday school stories to make us feel better, but the facts are not like that. Well, actually, I don't totally agree or disagree with that statement. When you look into it, the majority of near-death experiences, they do report seeing a great big light, and that thing is like the most deceptive, fucking manipulative light you'll ever see, ever. It uses a thing called a love bomb to manipulate and control you to do whatever it wants to do. So, what, love? Used as a weapon? Yes, they use love as like the greatest weapon. Oh, actually, they've got lots of weapons, but that's a major weapon, right? Imagine if I went to a bar and I went up to a girl and I was like, "Hi, how you going?" And she's like, "No, sorry, not interested. I got a boyfriend." Right? And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, nothing's gonna happen." I walk away. Now, as I stand back 10 meters and I get up my wand and I send a love spell at her. Poof! Hits her. She gets overwhelmed by this great sense of love, overwhelming love. And I walk back over to her now. I say hi, and she goes, "Hi." I'm like, how you going? And she's like, "I'm going great." I'm like, "Hey, do you want to come back to my place?" She goes, "Yes, okay, I feel so good." I'm like, "Oh, great, come back to my place. Yeah, you want to take off all your clothes? You want to have sex?" Yeah, okay. She's got a boyfriend. And she fucking didn't want to even talk to me earlier, but now I've got her under this spell of amazing love. She does whatever I want, right? That's how this love can be used against you. I'm not saying necessarily love is a bad thing. I'm just saying it can be fucking used against you. It's a very powerful weapon that can be used against you. You need to use discernment. You need to be aware of that. Otherwise, your goodness and your love will be used against you, and you will fall for it. And very often, people will see the light, and they'll see a figure there that they trust, beckoning them to follow. It's just like a moth to a flame, just not knowing any better, just going, okay. And because they have to have your consent, remember, they can't force you. You don't have a body to be forced. And you are equally powerful as them, if not more powerful. So they have to seduce you and lure you in with, an image that you trust, a beautiful sounding voice, a wonderful feeling, a visually spectacular sight. Right? All these things are seducing you, and you go, "Oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that." And you agree, and they get your consent, and they go, yay, we got the consent, and now we can do whatever we want with them. We got a little plaything, a little toy here. So, okay, death is complicated and inevitable, but what happens with it is in your hands. No one else's, yours. As long as you take that fucking reign, right? Then it's true. The outcome of your death will depend on your state of consciousness. It depends on how skilled you are at managing your consciousness. Your state of consciousness will determine what happens to you after you die. So we need to study these bardos and understand them very well. After death, there are 3 becomings or betweens. They are death, reality, and rebirth. So we don't want rebirth. No. Right? This second set of 3 states relates to what happens after the physical body has been discarded. What happens in these 3 stages depends 100% on how you use your attention. So let us be realistic. I know everybody would like to die peacefully in bed at night. Actually, this is good. I like this part. Let us be realistic. I know everybody would like to die peacefully in bed at night and not have any pain. In reality, like, if you were going to experience and play in a game or reality, right, where you did have this body and life, yeah, that's the way you'd want to go. Fucking peacefully in bed, right? And then you die and you wake up, you're like, oh, that was a fun experience, a game. What am I going to do now? But no, it's not like that. That's a daydream, a fantasy. The odds that the majority of us will die suffering. It's just a simple fact. Come to terms with it and prepare for it now. If we go to the morgue and look at the people who are dead there, the majority of them suffered in some way. It's very rare to find someone who had a peaceful, serene death. Most people suffered violence, being fucking shot or stabbed or crushed in a car crash or fucking destroyed by the system with chemotherapy and cancer and stupid doctors, or fucking poisoned to death via jabs, or suffocated, drowned, all this nasty evil shit. Illness, suffered emotionally or mentally, killed themselves with their own guilt and regret and vengeance and revenge and all this crazy shit. So chances are, so will we. We need to be serious about that and realize it and prepare for it. If we were to die now, today, with the level of training that we have today, how would we manage the process of death? If we are very sick, weak, suffering a lot physically, but also suffering a lot because of having to leave our family, our loved ones, our children, our possession, all of our earthly, materialistic attachments, how would our state of consciousness be? And it's quite often when people are in their deathbed state, a couple of days before they actually die, they do describe seeing people that they are familiar with, like whether it's a father or whoever, and it's kind of like warming them up for when they fully die to go to the light and being greeted by their loved ones again, right? They use your loved ones against you. Sure, it's great to love your mum and your dad and your sister and your family and your friends and yourself and your dog. I'm not saying don't do that. Fucking go for it. But don't be attached to it. Don't identify with it. Have connections with people, but don't have attachments. Attachments are what keep you prisoner. They will keep you here forever and ever if you attach to anything. Don't be attached to anything. You can still enjoy and be connected to things, which really is a deeper, more real, true level anyway, than attachments. Attachments come out of insecurity, right? I must be attached to my partner because I don't feel whole or complete without them. I must be attached to my family because I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have them. I'd be alone, I'd suffer. Who would look after me? It's attachments, it's weak, it's coming from a selfish, egotistical place. Whereas connection is like, I don't need any of those people. I don't need a partner or friends or family. I fucking love that I do have that. I'm grateful and appreciative, but I don't need them. Do I want them? Yeah, absolutely. That's the honest truth. But I'm not attached. I'm connected. It's a deeper, more real, honest, true level. And it's not something that's going to hold me back. It's not going to be an anchor. Attachments are anchors that literally anchor you down to this reality. Which is annoying, but that's just how it is. The anguish that we will experience while dying is usually quite extreme. The time of dying will probably be the time we will experience the most extreme anguish of our life. How strong is our training in self-observation and self-remembering and meditation? Are we strong enough to face that degree of suffering and be serene and not have attachment and not be afraid? So something I put myself through and test myself every day is thinking, if I was the enemy, how would I trick me into coming back? Right? Oh, you can create your own world and you can have all the most beautiful girls. You can have everything at your desire. Simple base level shit. Or it's a future version of myself that says, hey, no, you need to come back because you need to save the world, and then it pulls on the strings of wanting to be that savior, that hero, and looking out for everyone else and saving humanity and all the NPCs and the other spirits. Or you can create whatever reality you want, or you can be powerful like Superman and come back and destroy the cabal and rebuild humanity to be great and prosperous and lead them into a better tomorrow in a state of anarchy, or whatever. You can literally create the world ground up from the way you think it should be, whatever. Just, it's like, no to that, no to that, no to that, no to that. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm not going to fall for that. Like, I'm not going to fall for fucking anything. No temptation, no seduction. You got to really think, what would those temptations, those seductions for you be? Oh, well, you can come back and I know you didn't have kids, but you could have kids the next life. You could live in Sweden this time. You could be rich. We could write you a life script and you could be rich and famous and have it easy and no suffering and have all the women, all the partners, the perfect partner, the perfect house, the perfect job, the perfect... You could have a perfect life. Do you want to come back to Earth and do it again? Or, like, you didn't worship Jesus enough. You didn't learn enough about love. Oh, we have a great mission for you to come back to Earth. You've got to fulfill this mission. You were very special. You were very important. You need to come back. Like, the world won't be able to continue without you. You are that important. Like, you have to go back. Like, don't be selfish. Serve others. Oh, this whole thing about fucking serving others. Fuck off. Do you know what it means to serve? It means to be a servant, which is to be subservient, to be inferior, to be at the beck and call. I'm not against assisting and helping other people. Fucking sure, don't serve them. Like, unless you're a bootlicking cocksucker or something. Like, what the fuck? Don't serve people. That's an inferiority mentality. It's not healthy. Assisting and helping people, that's totally different than serving. The only person you should be serving is yourself. And you shouldn't even serve yourself. You should just be in alignment with your true self. Like, well, what does that mean? Have all your different parts aligned. I'm still learning about all these different parts, like the will, the sensations, the etheric, the astral, the physical, the heart, the mind, all that kind of stuff. Having them all in alignment. You don't need to serve. Serving is being inferior. Unless it's some, like, kinky sexual fantasy, right? Like, if it's that and you know it's that and it doesn't extend anywhere past that, sure, maybe that's okay, right? But not in all of reality, in your daily life. Like, I serve others, and people say they serve others, like, and they're proud of it. No, you don't know what that means. I'm a servant leader. But don't be a fucking servant, but be a leader. Just be a good man or a good woman and just help others. Don't serve them. Specificity of language, preciseness of language is important, to be as accurate as possible, because otherwise we get trapped into these words and we don't even know what they fucking mean, and it totally changes our subconscious programming and patterns and perceptions and then behavior and actions and results and outcomes. It changes everything just from the simple words we use. Tony Robbins talks about that a lot. So don't serve others, don't even serve yourself. Be in alignment with as much of yourself as possible, aiming for, obviously, totality, and then help others. Don't serve them. That's weird. It's fucking weird. Unless they get off like fucking sexual fantasy or something from that. Yeah, because that's another thing. You didn't serve others enough. Oh, you've got to go back and you've got to do this, or like you were a bad person. Look what you did to little Johnny there. You took his lollipop when you were a little kid, and you did this bad thing and that bad thing. You broke up with this person. Oh, all this nonsense. Like, you should feel guilty and ashamed of what you did. You need to go back to correct your karma and clear your guilt, pay your dues. You haven't earned your way into heaven and the afterlife. You have to go back to Earth. You know, presented before a court and a judge system, which happens often as well in these near-death experiences. It's fucking weird shit. Anyway, just remember you were sovereign. And yeah, it's just finding the fucking truth. Alright. The anguish, are we strong enough to face that degree of suffering and be serene and not have attachment and not be afraid? Yeah, actually, I remember I was being choked by a cop once. And he was choking the I got a video about it on YouTube. Choking the fucking shit out of me. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, I'm about to die. And I literally just thought in my head, I'm like, yep, I'm about to die. I'm about to go. Like, okay, I'm ready. Like, this is the moment I've been training for. This is what I've been preparing for. I'm like just expecting to die and to pop out of the body and to do my thing and be like, I'm going. Right? That was my state of mind. But then I didn't die, unfortunately. Nah. I want to be sure. That's why I do this stuff. I learn and learn and learn. I want to be prepared for anything, for all possibilities. I don't think you can be prepared enough for getting out of this realm, because this realm wasn't designed to imprison NPCs. It was designed to fucking imprison me and you spirits. That's the point of it. Like, the NPCs are just NPCs. They're just a hive-minded, the stillborn swarm. The fucking, the intellectual fetuses. The zombie horde, the walking dead. Like, that's just what they are. I'm not saying treat them with fucking disrespect face to face, but you gotta understand what they are at the same time. You know, you treat your dog a little bit differently than you treat your partner. You know, it's got a different intellectual level, right? But doesn't mean you don't care for it still. So it is likely that we are not prepared because we have the ego very alive. We have too much pride, too much shame, too much attachment, too much envy, too much fear, or we're too lazy in our spiritual practice. Yeah, pride's an interesting thing. It's like, should you be proud of anything? Like, I don't know. Is that an attachment? I still think about that one. I'm not sure. Obviously, yeah, shame isn't good. And if you're still feeling shame, like, day to day, it's like, what the fuck are you doing to be feeling shame? Like, unless if it's shame from something you did a long time ago, fix it. Go through Teal Swan's process, the completion process. She's got a brilliant book on that. Read the book, do the work, and you can dissolve those childhood traumas and those issues. If you're still doing things day to day that are making you feel shameful, like if you're a smoker and you don't like to smoke, and you feel guilty and shameful for smoking, okay, focus on that. You need to fucking fix that, right? Envy, yeah, I mean, actually I don't want to judge, but if you envy something or someone else, yep, fix that. Definitely work on that. And yeah, there's lots of mainstream people who talk about how to overcome all this stuff. Too much fear. Fear's a hard one, isn't it? Because fear arises from when we feel threatened, and that's so ingrained into this body because it's linked to survival and continuation of this existence in this body, that sometimes it's almost impossible to not feel fear. It's a difficult one. But sometimes what I do is I think about court, and I think about my next upcoming court date, and then I'm really cognizant of the way I feel, like, right here. And sometimes if I think about it, like in the past, always like, this tight feeling, scary. But now it's just like a little blip, and it's like, yep. But I want to get to the point where it's like, yeah, court. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, yeah, perhaps excitement, but really, do you even need excitement? It's just like, yeah, I'm just going to court, I'm going to do my thing. Like, are you James? No, I'm just James. Oh, no, I can't call you that. Just call me James. That's it. Yep. What do you want to happen here? Yeah, I want it dismissed. Not guilty. Just simple shit. Saying as little as possible. Anyway. Too lazy. Well, yeah, you spend your time dollars in the direction of things that you care about. You care about your fucking destiny and controlling your own life, then you spend your time in that direction. If you don't care, well, you're not going to learn about it, right? So we're not serious about managing our attention daily. We're only serious about making money or managing our social image, how others perceive us, all egotistical stuff. Our spiritual work is very low on the list. We might mean well, but when we look at how we really spend our time and energy, we really do not invest much time and energy into our spiritual work. And this is going to be a real problem for when we die. When we die, most of what we right now think as ourselves will be taken from us. We have shown you this diagram. Oh, okay, here's a diagram. Living person, so it's got the outside circle as a physical body, then the vital body. Some other people call that like the etheric or sensational. And then you've got mind, heart, mental, astral bodies, unmodified consciousness. I'm not sure about that. Absolute emptiness. That just sounds like the zero-dimensional field of nothingness. And then saying a dead person basically just has all those except for the vital body and physical body. I wonder if I can do that actually, and how it's going to come out on the camera. Actually, a friend of mine, Mariah, made a really nice thing as well. I'll see if I'll bring it up actually. I will just, because I don't know what I've been sending there. Here we go. She made this, which is really cool. So the way she's got it is physical matter or body at the bottom, then etheric sensations, astral emotions, mental thoughts, and then the causal body, the will. Obstructed emanation, spirit, direct connection to source outside the physical false light matrix. Yeah. I mean, I haven't spent too much time looking at this, but I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, shapes are a bit funny. But anyway. Alright, continue. It is obvious that when we die, the physical body is taken from us. Because it's not you. When you drive a car and then you get out, well, you're not in your car anymore, are you? But when you're driving a car, if you fully identify with it and think you are the car, you are the van, the Mustang, you got a problem. That's not what you are. You were just driving it. It is your vessel from getting to point A to point B. Bloody hell. I'm trying to set this camera up right again. It's on my little tripod. We know that. What is also taken is the vital body, which is the energy of the physical body. What is also taken is our personality, our name, our language, our cultural taste, what we like as music, what we like as food, our clothing tastes. Though, a lot of NDEs say that they were still them, right? But really, what does that mean? So I think personality still remains, but it'll just be altered, different. Anyway, see what he says. All of those behavioral characteristics that we think are our identity, all of that is abandoned. What goes into the other world is the raw content of our mind and heart, trapped inside of that is the consciousness. We have never properly trained our consciousness to be aware of itself. We will pass through the phase of death in the exact same way that we dream now at night, with zero cognizance of ourselves, with zero awareness. Due to this, we will pass through the three bardos of the after-death state completely without consciousness, completely asleep, the same way that we dream now. In order for us to have cognizance of ourselves and the three bardos that occur between lives, we would have needed to have developed during life cognizance of our true identity, a continual awareness of what we are, which is not the body, which is not energy in the body, and it is not the personality. So, because energy is still materialistic stuff, it still comes from, because what is energy? Well, it's oscillation, it's vibration, it's that sound which then creates light, which is still not the original starting point. It's something that's been projected outside of that original starting point. That's why in the Bible, in the beginning there was the word, because the word is a vibration, which is an oscillation, which is a sound, yeah? And that's why the sine wave going up and down, it looks like a snake, the serpent, the Ouroboros going around in a circle. They love the serpents and the whole reptilian shebang, and Lucifer being the serpent and the snake and devil. There's a lot of snake shit going on here. You know, even the letter S looks like a sine wave symbol, the oscillation, the vibration. So be wary of energy. It's still a projected, illusory thing. You are beyond energy. Energy. I don't know, I was just thinking of etymology. Okay. Real spiritual training. Next title. Unfortunately, some of us learn spirituality only to strengthen the personality. Many of us learn spirituality that is focused only in the body and only in the vital body as well. Okay. For many of us, our spiritual training has been all about, for example, hatha yoga, Pilates, Sufism, or any other type of exercise in which we focus on the body and do different types of exercises and stretches related mainly to the body. That still can be good, yeah, but it shouldn't be the main focus. Or we may have learned techniques to work with energy in the vital body, like Reiki, Pranayama, different forms of Tantra, so-called energy work, where we become very identified with energy. Or in the vast majority of cases, our spirituality is focused completely on our personality, our tradition, our religion, and how we appear in it. Looking like a good Christian, or a good Buddhist, or even a good Gnostic. Always at church or school, on time, in a nice outfit, doing what is expected from us, from the spiritual community, from those around us. Always looking like the role model, or trying to be or playing humble. I am so humble. Not that that's a bad thing, but sometimes people overdo it. That is all personality. It's not real, it is not spirituality. It's ego. The person who is seriously training in spirituality does not identify themselves with the physical body at all. No. Sure, they take care of it, might go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym after this at some point, just to keep my body in a bit of shape. Sometimes I eat a bit too much nut butters and Greek yogurt. Oh, shh. Right? They take care of it, they feed it well, they keep it relaxed, but they do not overexpend energy on the body. Likewise, they work with the vital body, conserving energy and using energy wisely, but are not overly identified with energy or the vital body. Finally, they do not become identified with the personality, with politics, schools, movements, groups, religions, their culture, their bloody skin color, their gender, with who is the greatest, latest teacher, or the latest, greatest book or trend, or what we are supposed to wear when we go to this or that event. Get rid of identities and attachments. Sure, you can have them, but know that it's not you. It's a character you're playing. It's not really you. You're that nothingness, that potential to be something. That's what you really are. You're not the something. You're the potential to be something. Anything, everything, nothing, everything in between of those things of everything and nothing. You're all of that stuff. You can choose to identify with something along that massive spectrum of everything, nothing, and all that is in between. But the problem lies in when you totally identify with one of those things, and you think you are just that, except you are the potential and the possibility of that thing more than you are that thing. They do not care at all about these sorts of things, but instead their attention is completely focused on analyzing and studying the relationship between the mind, heart, and the consciousness, because in that relationship is access to the absolute, which is deep inside. This is important. I like that word, the absolute, actually. Absolute. This is important because when we pass through death, the physical body is destroyed, and the vital body. All of a sudden we find ourselves at the doorway of death, still thinking we have our name, our culture, our religion, our habits, our tastes in food, music, places we like to go, but none of that is with us anymore. You don't need to eat, right? You don't need to wear clothes, don't get cold. You don't need pockets. We will not know we are dead. We will not realize it. In 99.9% of the cases, this is what happens. Anyone here who awakens their consciousness and goes out of their body or in meditation can perceive the world of the dead. Interesting. And can talk with any person there and will discover that the dead do not know that they are dead. They will also be our that will also be our destiny unless we awaken consciously, seriously. So it kind of sounds like what he was mentioning there is perhaps like an astro-etheric realm where people are stuck, like ghosts or lost spirits, that kind of thing. Though more research required on that specific field. when he said people can meditate, go out of the body and see dead people. That's interesting, but more for me to learn there. By training in the vigil state, training in the dream state, and training in the meditation state, we train ourselves to be conscious in the death, reality, and rebirth states, to be aware and to not sleep like an animal. So this next big title is the Death and the Tree of Life. That thing. And so it starts from the bottom, that Malkuth is the physical body. When we study this on the Tree of Life, we discover why this is so important. On the lower half of the Tree of Life, we see 5 Sephiroth. The lowest is Malkuth, which is the physical body, obviously. And so I think this is Sanskrit. Obviously with death in the physical body, I think the Kabbalah looks very similar to this as well. It's something I need to look into more as well. Obviously with death in the physical body is taken from us, we lose our connection to it. With the physical body goes the vital body, Yesod, which is the energy of the physical body. We also lose that, and we lose personality. What remains are these 3 Sephiroth, which is Tifereth, Netzach, and Hod. So that's consciousness, intellect, and heart. If in our physical life we never learn to use attention, it means that we never learn to use our consciousness, which is related with Tifereth. That means that when our physical body is destroyed, when the vital body is destroyed, the personality is destroyed, we end up in the 5th dimension in our protoplasmic, interesting choice of words, but this is even more interesting, he says lunar bodies. Fuck the moon, man. The moon's fucked. Why do you think they call it a lunatic? What's a lunatic? I mean, someone who's crazy. It's probably like all these bloody Kabbalists, right? And all the government and all that shit. There'd be lunatics. Because what's a lunatic? Well, it's a moon parasite. A tick, yeah? Politics, blood-sucking fucking parasite. Lunatic. Yeah, the moon's a weird thing, and some people think this, the bright light at the end of the tunnel is the moon. Don't know exactly, but it's not a fucking spaceship. Like that theory. All that nonsense. You can't land on the moon. I don't know exactly what the moon is, but yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't think it's made out of cheese either. But anyway, don't worship the moon. Don't worship fucking anything outside of yourself. Even then, it's like, should you worship yourself? I don't know, just respect yourself. You fucking care about yourself. You need to worship yourself. Worship, that you could have like some kind of, sexual fantasy about that, but fuck, to do it like in a day-to-day thing of worshipping something, it's weird. Okay. How we pay attention, that is the same thing. Okay. Oh, did I miss a part? So, so we end up in the 5th dimension, protoplasmic. So these people, when they exit their body at death, I mean, they talk about being in a light body. Maybe he just means protoplasmic is the substance of that light body. Interesting. We will have no cognizance of ourselves because we never learn to use our essence, which is rooted in Tifereth. Tifereth is above Hod and Netzach. So Tifereth is that consciousness above heart and intellect. Heart and mind. Tifereth is the source of our essence. The essence is the consciousness, our Buddha nature. It is the source of attention, how we pay attention. That is the same thing as willpower. So Buddha nature. Buddha, right, that was just a title. It meant like enlightened one. Like, Gautama, the Buddha, is just the most famous Buddha, but there was other Buddhas too. You can become a Buddha, just enlightened one. But again, it depends on your definition of enlightened. I'm pretty sure their definition just means free of suffering. I mean, yeah, that's a fucking good step, but that doesn't mean you're fully enlightened. Oh, do you even want to be enlightened? Probably not. Specificity of words here. I was just thinking about what's a better way to say the same thing, right, in a different way than enlightened. I was like, aware. Well, what is aware? Like, what is W-A-R-E, where? Like, how do you explain it? It's like goods and products, right? That's what aware is. I'm aware. Oh, English, so fucked. I'm just going to type in define where. You go to a warehouse, yeah? So you're aware. I'm aware, like an item that is offered for sale, an attribute or ability, especially when regarded as an article of commerce. Fucking hell. You know, and you even have like a werewolf or a wear. Oh, wear is like something you wear. W-E-A-R, like clothings. Ugh, a wear. Conscious is like like something that's fake and false, and chess is a bloody game. Conscious. Ugh. Annoying. All this etymology. We're trying to be precise, but it's hard here when every word is used against us. We just have to know the meaning behind it, how we actually interpret it. Get rid of that. Get back here. So, if in our physical body, in life, we never learn to use this willpower, which is your ability to use power to direct your focus and attention, your consciousness, then we will not have access to it when we are dead, because we never learned how to use it. We will be asleep, not knowing we are dead, and we will pass through those experiences pushed by karma. If we have learned to use and have awakened consciousness, and even better, created the soul, he says create the soul? That's weird. Meaning we have raised the serpents of the Kundalini. A bit of a problem with that. Either in the first degree in the physical body, in the second degree in the vital body, third astral, fourth mental, fifth causal, we will have a huge advantage because we will awake after death. Rather, it is more likely we will be awake. Let's put it that way. We can still fall asleep, but we will have some advantage because we will have awakened some consciousness by achieving those degrees of initiation. So there's a lot of mixed reviews about the whole Kundalini thing. I'm not so sure about it. Like, there's theories that talk about it's only souled man, not spirited man, that can get to that point, and they get trapped in the third eye, whole Kundalini stuff. And I mean, I've seen people go through Kundalini and they're fucked, like on the verge of committing suicide and just plagued by entities that are demanding that they worship them. It's pretty sick. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest that Kundalini thing or deliberately trying to do it, but I'm not 100% sure. But at this point, no, it doesn't seem good. It's linked to the fucking snakes and all that. The Kundalini, they put it on their caduceus, which is that the medical staff, the staff of Hermes Trismegistus with the snakes around it, which can symbolize Mercury as well. According to Erwinon, you've got a Flat Earth channel on YouTube, talks about a lot of interesting things. And Tartaria. Yeah. Anyway, back to this. Tethereth, the causal body, is in the 6th dimension. The mind, heart, or the mental astral bodies are in the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension is the world of dreams. It is the world of the mind and emotion. On this planet, in our psyche, the 5th dimension is completely corrupted by our ego. Because we are so deeply asleep and because we have so many desires, the 5th dimension is a very tricky place. You all know that because you remember your dreams, or when you do. Dreams are very different to what happened in the physical world. Yep. Everything there works very differently. Everything behaves differently. And for us, it is very hard to see what is real in the 5th dimension. We're very easily fooled there because of so much desire in our mind, so much pride and so much lust. If we want clarity, to be able to see what we are experiencing, to be able to discriminate what we see and experience, we have to develop that skill in the physical body now. Because after we die, we will be in the 5th dimension. Exactly the same as the world of dreams that we enter into every night. But the difference is our connection into the physical body is severed. How are you dreaming now? With cognizance or without? Are you lucid or not? Do you remember everything that happened to you for those 6, 8, or 10 hours that you were lying in the bed? How much of that do you remember? How much of that were you cognizant of yourself? How much of that time were you aware of where you were and what you were doing? Were you in control? The answer to that question will tell you what is going to happen to you after you die. If you do not like the answer, then you should start training. The full Tree of Life shows us all the dimensions of nature. The physical body, Malkuth, is a point of departure from which you can access lower worlds or higher worlds. on this tree of life, we can understand it. That was explained by Samuel Ernwer in many of his books and lectures. So, the above and below, the heavens and the hells, the samsara, the nirvana. Even though it's all the same fucking thing, it's all still the matrix, the top and the bottom. It's just all bullshit still. And dualistic is to duel, conflict, confrontation, not peace, war, the bad kind, the really bad kind. The person who dies faces 3 potential outcomes. So it's really extremely limited. The one, well, apologies, I take that back. Anyway, the ones who have earned it achieve a vacation of sorts. In the ones who have earned it, the word earn, yeah, you're like, oh, you go to work and you earn money, yeah, because an urn is something that holds the fucking ashes of the dead, right? That's what you're doing. It's containing your dead self. I don't like that word. What he's saying here. The ones who have earned it achieve a vacation of sorts in the superior worlds. So something else gives you permission to experience a vacation. Oh, yeah. How wonderful. These other entities that control your destiny. In which they experience the pleasures, happiness, and serenity of the heavens. Those dimensions that are not corrupted by desire. Well, why the fuck would you want to experience pleasure or happiness if you had no desire? Like, there's no point. If you have desire, you want to exercise that desire to experience happiness and serenity. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Why even experience peace? Why would you want peace if you couldn't desire peace? If you had no desire, you wouldn't want anything to change. Desire is like also the ability to want change. And the ability to change, which is willpower, right? If I'm living and existing in a state of perfection and I had no desire, well, it's like, well, I'm just stuck here. Like, even if I wanted to change this state, I can't, because I'm a slave. I'm stuck here. Even though it is a great and wonderful state, I'm still stuck. That's why desire, like, even if you're like, yeah, okay, I'm in this perfect, eternal, peaceful state, I'll stay here for eternity, but I know I can change my state if I want to. I'm not going to, but I know I can. Like, that's a free choice then. Yeah, that's free. That's what freedom is. Even if it's the ability to fuck yourself up and come to Earth, like, that's what freedom is. If you don't have freedom, what's the point? How interesting. Just had like some cognitions happening. Yeah, because if you're existing in perfect equilibrium of peace forever and ever, which I'm saying, yeah, that's what you want to do. You're taking a piss a little bit. That's what you'd want. But if you didn't have the ability to change that state, then you are not free. True freedom is the ability to change and to change the experience. Even if it's from one perfection to a different perfection, or from perfection to imperfection. Even if you never exercise that ability, it's the fact that you have that ability. You have freedom. So, the second path is to be reborn immediately with no break, but instead immediately come back into a physical body to continue suffering their karma, the results of their actions. Yeah, and their actions was to be ignorant, and they just got sucked into the Jesus myth or Buddha myth or whatever, and these entities say, hey, yep, you're going back down to Earth, because we tell you, and they go, yep, okay, clap the feet together, whatever you say, master, boom, straight into another body. Nothing else needed, right? And if you study Mark's channel, Forever Consciousness Research, he goes over Michael Newton's work, who studied a couple hundred different people who did hypnotic past life regression and lives in between lives. What also happens in these states, a lot of the time when people actually die, they then go to like this kind of indoctrination camp, this schooling, spiritual schooling in the astro-etheric realms of their spirit guides and entities and all this, manipulate and indoctrinate them to be prepared to come back to Earth for another round of reincarnation. So he's got some good works, Michael Newton, Journey of Souls and the Destiny of Souls. I think they were his books. and Mark just goes over and narrates over the top and adds his 2 cents in. It's definitely worth looking into as well. There's probably 20 hours worth of content there, but it's worth it. 2 times speed minimum. The third outcome, and karma just means action. You don't have to pay off your karma. Bloody nonsense. Oh, I've got good or bad karma. Just fucking treat others as you wish to be treated. It's simple. Don't get sucked in by your own guilt. Like you do that to yourself, or that internal judgment. You know, other people can manipulate you to make you do it to yourself, but ultimately it's you doing it to yourself, whether it's here or in any other realm. The third outcome is where the person is unable to pay their debts or earn the ticket to have a vacation. Ugh, so gross, this terminology. So they descend into the lower worlds, what we call hell, in order to start paying what they owe. Ugh. O, rearranged as an anagram, is woe. W-O-E. O-W-E. Woe. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Because if you owe something, oh, woe behold you. So here on this map we see these options. In the middle is Malkuth. Sounds like a bloody dark elf name or something. Malkuth. Malakor. The physical body. When the physical body is dead, when it dies, our karma and state of consciousness determine if we get reborn immediately. Do we earn a vacation in the superior worlds, or do we descend into the lower worlds? It depends. It depends on us. I'll get into my plan later. Let us examine exactly how this happens, as close as we can get to exactly, because really, there are too many factors at play in this scenario. In general terms, what happens is this. You die, the connection to your physical body is severed. Agreed. I think everyone agrees that. At that point, you enter the 5th dimension, which is the same world of dreams that you enter into now when you sleep. That's up for debate. I'm not sure exactly what this fucking realm is. Well, people explain there's lots of different types of realms they enter, but there are those commonalities I shared earlier between them. You will enter into that world exactly the same way you fall asleep now. If you fall asleep without any cognizance of that transition between the vigil and the dream state, you will die in the same way. Without any cognizance. Some people, because of the strong experience of death, can receive a shock to the consciousness and can be aware. That happens. It happens a lot. But you cannot expect it to happen to you. These shocks are accidental. Maybe. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. They are not produced by will. We have all heard stories of near-death experiences or after-death experiences, which are produced by precisely this kind of shock. They're accidental, sometimes happened as a gift or wake-up call from God. Yeah, no, I don't like that. They happen because the consciousness, and a gift, weird shit. Yeah, like there was in Greek mythology with it wasn't Hephaestus, it was Prometheus. Prometheus told his brother, don't accept any gifts from Zeus, because Zeus is a tricky cunt, and any gift from him will fuck you up. And so, because what happened, Prometheus gave mankind fire, and then Zeus tied him to a rock, and then had a giant eagle pick him apart and eat his liver every single day. And at night, his liver would regrow, or kidney or something, and then the eagle would come back, and that happened for a long time. I don't know how long, but even one day, that's just terrible. And then at some point Prometheus told his brother never accept a gift from Zeus, and then Zeus created a woman, I think, and gave it to Prometheus's brother, and yeah, it fucked him up, caused him to suffer somehow. I can't remember exactly. I just read it in passing. But be very careful about gifts you get from people, because often it wouldn't be a very good gift. Here's a gift, here's a virtual reality matrix chip you can put in your brain, and then you can be connected to the metaverse, and you can think a lot quicker, and you can build your own digital world, and you could fly and do this and that. Yeah, it's a gift. Yeah, we promise we won't enslave you forever and ever. It's a gift, you know? Like we're giving away donuts with every free injection. Yeah. Oh man, stupidity. Any gift you can just get from within yourself, right? Give yourself whatever you need, or realize that you don't need it. Where was I? Oh, apologies from this. They happen because the consciousness suddenly realizes what is happening, or it receives a jolt of energy from the being in order to produce the cognizance that is needed. Yeah, okay, so you could say the internal highest part of self, God self, that's fully aware, that's being restricted by all these contracts and agreements to enter into here voluntarily with consent. And to float into the dream world without any awareness of what is happening to them. Because if you think you were forced here, you're already done. You're fucking powerless. You've lost, right? So the only way we actually ended up here is with consent. We were coerced, or there was an offering to experience something which we had not experienced, and we were like, yeah, let's fucking experience that. What's it like to experience imperfection? What's it like to go into this realm? What's it like for that to happen? Let's go test it out. Oh, that sounds fun. Beautiful women down there. Oh, I'll go check them out. Oh, get down there. Yeah, they are beautiful, but yeah, it's really not worth it in this fucking realm. I'm getting the hell out of here. So, yeah, it was consent. We had to consent to come in. They need your consent to come back here again, to play another round in the sick, twisted game. They have to have your consent. They can't force you. Because of that, no. You work, yeah. Because of that, when we die, we'll not know where we are going or what we are doing. We will be in a dream with no cognizance, no awareness, not even knowing we are dead. Huh. We will perceive in the same way we perceive our dreams. What do you see in your dreams? Things that make no sense. You at work every night because you're at work every day, or visiting places from your childhood, or random shit happening. Fantasize about it. Dreaming in the movie that you watched, or the book that you have been reading, or the TV show. Yeah. I dreamt about a TV show character last night. Those are the same places that you will see after you are dead. I mean, the dream world is a lot better than this world anyway. A lot more cool shit happens. There's no suffering in the fucking dream world. But still, we want better than that. We deserve better than that. Devachan. There is a related state of consciousness. Devachan is just the title. There is a related state of consciousness which in Sanskrit is called Devachan. Many people, especially in modern spiritual groups, talk about Devachan as if it is something good, as a kind of heaven in which you are reunited with all your loved ones. But let me explain something very clearly. Devachan is a projection of the mind. It does not exist. It is an illusion. Yes, anything that's outside of the zero-dimensional field is an illusion. Even if you created it yourself, and it is a literal perfect world, or maybe not perfect, but a fucking bang-ass materialistic world, right? And you created your own. And it was just like this, but without all the evil shit. Everyone treated each other well, everyone was conscious, everyone knew where they came from and knew what they were, and they knew they were playing a role and being a character in this world. Like, yeah, it's all great. It's still an illusion. It's still not real compared to what is truly real, which is that zero-dimensional field. Or it's not original, okay? It's created, it's artificial. It's not original. It hasn't always existed. It existed at a beginning and end point. It has a beginning and end point, which means it's not forever, not eternal. It's an illusion. Many people have a near-death experience and come back report seeing all their loved ones and being welcomed by all the people who died before them. Most of the time, that was a projection of their mind. That kind of experience can happen in reality also. And so the series that this projection happens because of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is that very powerful hallucinogenic drug, or what do you call them? Chemical, I guess. Yeah, chemical. That you can smoke, or ayahuasca, or some plants, or toads. And it's also produced in your pineal gland. Or pituitary. I think it's pineal. That kind of experience can happen in reality also, but one has to earn that. It does not just happen to everybody, it has to be earned. In most cases, it isn't. So when most people die, they project images to themselves in their minds. They're projecting their desires because they are afraid, because they have attachments, and so they see what they want to see. Yeah, in a way, that's right. Retrospection after death. So this is a paragraph here from Samuel, who apparently wrote this book called Beyond Death. just been put in here. So he says, after death, we review the life that we just finished. We relive it in a retrospective manner, by means of the intelligence and the heart. After such a retrospection has concluded, we then must appear before the courts of God. And this does happen in a lot of NDEs as well. People, exit their body and go through the light, and then what happens after they go through the light is they end up in this different realm, looks materialistic and stuff, and then they go before a court, and the court might be human, or they might be grey aliens. That happens, rarely reptilians, and other entities, not normally humanoid, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, they're just submissive again and inferior to this court system. That's why they use courts down here, prepare you for those courts up there, so when the magistrate up there says, go back to Earth, bang, 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 you've been programmed down here to listen to that. You're still stuck in that fucking loop. The angels of the law are called amongst the Eastern people the lords of karma. Yeah. They judge us according to our deeds. The outcome of such a judgment could be that we may return again into a new womb in order to appear again immediately in this physical world. We may enter into a kind of vacation within the worlds of the light and happiness, or finally, regrettably, we could be obligated to enter into the interior of the earth, within its infra dimensions. Never heard that word before, infra dimensions, with all of its pains and displeasures. Yeah, just say, nah, not doing any of that, bypass them. So my plan is the triple P plan, protection, power, portal. So protection, go, well, I know there's a fucking system, a mechanism of the nature of this reality created by the Demiurge, Lucifer, Archons, whatever the fuck, I don't care, something. The worst parts of myself projected out there to try and entrap me, an artificial intelligence, reptilians, aliens, greys, whatever, bad Jesus, something wants to fuck with me when I die to get me to reincarnate or to do something that I don't want to do, whatever that may be. So I go, protection. No, I'm not having any of that. I'm not going down any tunnel. If I do start going down a tunnel, no, stop, disappear. If there's any distractions, any thoughts coming into my head that are being transmitted from somewhere else, any entities that appear that may be a figment of my imagination of a character I've created, or Harry Potter out of a book, or Alexander the Great, or Hitler, or Jesus, or Buddha, or my dead grandma or grandpa, or a future version of myself, or Thanos, or Superman, or any physical thing, an angel, or something I don't know, or an energy sphere, or blob, or I don't care, whatever. If something's like, hey, you did really well on Earth, it's time to do something else, or hey, I know you've been researching and you know about this whole trap thing, so we're not going to try and trick you, it's a free choice. But we've got this really juicy and seductive opportunity for you. How about, do you want to go do this, whatever it is. It's like, no, protection, not having anything to do with that. Nothing can penetrate through my wall. Boom, I'm with myself. And because it's going to be, whoa, like a shocking experience, because we can't remember it. Most of us can't. What's it like to be outside of this physical body? Like, I haven't really done much, well, barely any out-of-body experience stuff, or astral projection. I don't know. It'd be like, so it's like, whoa, hold on a second, I want to get used to this. And very often what happens with people is something will happen straight away after they die, so they don't even get that time to come to their senses, really. Not all the time, but often. So it's like protection. Want the moment, right? And then power. Well, what senses do I have? Come to, what's the word? Get used to that new feeling, that new sensation, experience, consciousness, whatever. Like, okay, right, how do I move? How do I think or know? Thinking kind of is a cheap knockoff of knowing things. A bit different. Just be really aware, as conscious and aware of what's happening to myself as possible, self-aware. And, I can even literally say commands inside my mind or out loud, however it works, like, I want my power back. Not I am having all my power returned, all the power that's available. coming in. I want all my memories back from if I have had past lives, all those past lives, the memory and experience of coming in here. I want it all back. Zing, process it. Ah, okay, that's what's fucking happened. Ah, okay, now I know exactly where to go out the way I came in. Ah, I remember what it's like to be that highest, truest spiritual state before I even came into that realm, the etheric realm, because the theory is, it's like we came from spirit source, the original point, into the astro-etheric simulated illusory world to enjoy and experience, right? It sounds, yeah, super fun, right? And then from that matrix, we got somehow deceived and coerced to come into this one. And you can see while we're in this one, they want to take you into a deeper one. Bloody metaverse, all that digital matrix shit. Fuck that. No. So it's like, okay, boom, have all the memories come back. Ah, I see the path, right? And even if you don't have that, it's like, okay, well, that's why learning in this world, well, what is home? That meditation, that internal space of nothingness, of peace, that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm going for. Portal, whether you make a portal with your hand, make a giant portal appear and you walk through it, or teleport or phase there, or just project that onto the exterior or go within, whatever. You're like, okay, now time to go. Like what I'm doing is I'm getting out of here, I'm going back to there, focus. And if for some reason none of this stuff works, then just doing what you do in this world, just fucking figuring it out. Like if you're like, oh, nothing's working, just figure it out. Then go and perhaps confront these entities and be like, no, fucking stop this, unplug this matrix, and then you go and cause havoc and chaos to their realms and you fuck them over. And then you come in with morality and objective natural law and you just fucking rampage on them. But that's only as a last resort, right? Because the idea is to just get out of all the layers of the matrix, get right back to that original point. Then once you're there, then you can decide what you want to do. Maybe you're like, oh, that whole thing was literally not real, not at all, I just thought it was. It's not, and it doesn't exist anymore. It's a figment of my imagination, right? Or you're like, you get back to that original point, you're like, oh wait, no, that did exist and that matrix needs to be fucking unplugged forever. Oh, I can do it now. Bing. And then it's all collapsed and all the trapped spirits and souls, whatever, released back into the void, the abyss, source, original spirit point. They're like, whoa, wake up, and then they go, stay in eternal peace, or they build new universes or something, and then they all are aware and learn of what happened, so then it can never happen again. Like, go exterminatus on this shithole. So, protection, power, portal, getting back to true spirit. Oh, that's a lot of reading. I'm gonna have to take a break soon. I've already had a couple. I'll go for a bit more. After an experience of death, when the soul, the consciousness, is liberated from the body, at a certain point, the consciousness begins to receive a test. This happens to every disincarnated person. The disincarnated one is suddenly where they were right before they died, seeing whatever they were seeing and experiencing whatever they were experiencing right before they died. Yeah. If they were at home having a meal, suddenly they're there having a meal at home, enjoying the food, enjoying the company of their family and friends. They start to go backwards, event to event, experiencing everything to the smallest degree that they experienced in their physical life while they were alive. The problem is that nobody realizes that they are dead. So they are living out their life, and without realizing it, they are living it out in reverse. In other words, they are replaying every instant of their entire lifetime backwards. Everyone has heard about that experience. Well, no, not everyone has. Oh, that when you die, your life plays back before you. Life flashing before your eyes. Yeah, I guess everyone has heard that. Let me explain something clearly so that you understand this. Time in the physical world is only in the physical world. The fifth dimension does not have time like here. That is why when you fall asleep and have a nap, you can dream and it feels like you were dreaming for hours and hours, and when you wake, it's only been 15 minutes. Yeah, astonished. I thought I was asleep for hours. That's because in other dimensions, time functions differently. Different vibration, different rate. We call the fifth dimension eternity because time there is circular. That's a very interesting way to put it. And not linear. Anyhow, that's another subject. I'm going to actually cut this video and finish this video, and I'll have to do a part 2 of this. Maybe 2 more parts. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. G'day there, James Bartolo here. If you find this video valuable, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe.